Hi, it's Ronnie, and welcome to a scrapbooking process video. I'm going to scrap those two photos right there, and it's going to be a companion page to this one right here. It's not going to be a two-page layout. I don't have the same papers, and it was like a spur of the moment idea to go ahead and do it because I decided to put these two and an insert that we'll have in between the two in my daughter-in-law's album. And I'm showing the dies that I'm using. Some are different from the other half of the layout. Well, I left everything on the desk. And when I went back to clean it up after I edited the video, I decided to go ahead, the first video, the one on, well, yesterday, I decided to go ahead and do a companion page with a couple of other pictures that was taken at the same time. And then for the insert, I'm going to have the pan of dumplings and the plate with the food on there and the bowl of dumplings. I am making tabs like for recipe cards to put my two photos on, and I'm using the We Are Memory Keepers tab punch. And you can see I'm doing it both ends, and that's because one side's printed and one side isn't. And I wanted to get the tabs correct before I did any cutting off. So I just decided I'd do the tabs at each end and then put the photos on there and trim off what needs to be trimmed off. However, I'd already put foam tape on here because it was kind of decide as I went, and it wasn't like I was planning on using the tab punch, but I did do it, and so there wasn't really much planning for this layout. It was more spur of the moment and last second decisions. But I do have foam tape under the photos, but not underneath the tabs. And I rounded the corners. I could have rounded them on the tab punch, but I decided it was easier to use the corner chomper thing instead because of the foam tape. And here I thought, oh man, I still got to cut them apart. I was going to do it by hand, but I decided since it was recipe cards that maybe I'll use my trimmer. So it's kind of hard sliding them up underneath that finger, whatever, to hold everything down. And but I got it done, and they're straighter than I thought it was going to be. I cut this wood grain, and then I inked the wrong side. I won't notice it till I go to put the fun foam on the back. But I liked both sides. It wasn't that I didn't like the other side. It just that my plan was to use the other side. And you will see it. It goes vertically instead of horizontally with the lines on there. And I just went ahead and left it because I thought, well, really, I like the other side too. I just like this side better. And since it was already inked, I was afraid my fun foam and stuff wouldn't stick as good to it, and I needed it to stick. I did use my ruler to kind of curve it a little bit. That's the reason the fun foam is there. I put the smaller one on top right next to the paper, and then the other one below it so it kind of go upward in the center and not fall down after I curled it. I'm putting handles on, and I forgot to leave the die out that I use for them, and that's the body part of a reindeer. And it made my handles just a little short and fat, but I thought it'd work since it is for scrapbooking and it don't have to be exactly perfect. Since I used twine on the other layout, I wanted to use twine on this one, so I put it on one of the handles, the one on the top, and I did try to think of something I could dangle from from that twine, but I couldn't think of anything, so I went ahead and left it the way it is. However, I am going to put something on top of the rolling pin, and it's these words, yum, 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 and it come out of that hamburger die set. Well, it's hamburger, french fries, and I think a drink. And I cut out the word yum twice each, once in white and once in red, and I am layering them. And I'm just going to adhere them in the middle. You will see me put a little bit of glue under the M, and then no, it's under the Y. And then I'll realize that I don't need it there because I'm only going to adhere it in the middle, so I will rub it off with my finger. I am going to add some hearts later to each one of them, but I hadn't thought of it yet. This little piece of chicken wire was left over from the first layout, but I decided to go ahead and use it since it was laying there when I started this layout. Pieces of gingham. They are from where I cut out the smaller square for the other layout. And the only thing I'd actually put up before I decided to do this layout was the embroidery thread. So I had to pull it back out, and I did use the Amy Tan template and made the crosses. They're a little off center, like it has one straight on the line that's going down, that's the edge of the gingham, and then one a little bit off. And so I really need to use a template for it. I might be able to do it without the template, but I haven't tried it. I have the template, so I use it. I have made them without a template, but they were straighter. And my camera went off right then, so you didn't get to see the title put on, but I usually cut most of that out anyway, but it cut off earlier than planned. And I thought, well, I don't plan on leaving it on that long anyway, so I just went ahead and left it, and then I forgot to turn it back on for a second after I finished the title. I pulled out, it's Simple Stories alphas, and one is happy and the other one is memory, so I used them on my tab instead of some recipe. And in the top photo you will see Jason cutting out with a pizza cutter the dumplings, and then Reagan's in the background fixing something else. And you would have seen the photos of Malachi on yesterday's uh, layout. My mind, I'm trying to look and see what I'm doing right there while I'm talking, and I can't do two things at once apparently. Anyway, my daughter-in-law she had some dough left over, and she decided to roll it out and cut it, and she was going to save it, and then she decided to use it as a prop for Malachi to roll out dumplings. So if you look closely at the photos yesterday, you would have seen the slices of dumplings where she had already cut them out before she decided to let him use it as a prop. And that's why I decided to put it in her album, because she was thinking of the scrapbooker in the family when she did that. But I thought I'd save that part for the next layout, which I was going to do, but I wasn't planning on doing it until March, because I have some other layouts that I need to get done that I have committed to. But then I couldn't resist once I sat back down here and started putting things up. I decided here at the last second to make a pot, and you will see in the close-ups that it looks like granite. I bought that paper a long time ago, so I showed the date, and it's 2001, and I didn't start scrapping until a few years after that. So these probably had been sitting in the scrapbook store for a long time, but I'd gone out of town, and there was a scrapbook store, and of course I wanted to go to it, and seen this and thought, oh man, on my paper piecing things, this would be great. So mainly, not every time, but mainly I use it for paper piecing, and it makes a great pot because of the granite look. I did put it on foam tape, and I didn't even notice I covered up a little over half of the F on the fun, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it because I tried to move it and it did not work very well at all. So I went ahead and left it. That paper is thin. I should have put some cardstock behind it, but I didn't. So I put lots of foam tape though so that it wouldn't cave in. But again, I showed the other layout to show it can be a companion page, especially with the insert that I plan with the two photos. And I am thinking either uh, 6 by 6 uh, well, it'd be 3 openings with 6 or something. And or else I would put one that goes actually into a 6 by 8 album in there and just have 2 on each side. I hadn't decided yet. I might have to look and see what all I have left. But I am going to put them in the insert. I have put inserts without the sleeves and made my own and put, like, maybe if I was to put the actual recipe on the inside. But I think I will use sleeves on this one. And so my title is so much fun cooking together, because there are 3 of them. Well, I'm sure there's 4 with Erin taking the photos and her being there. And she actually made the chicken and the dumplings. They just helped with other things. But that's it. That's my layout. If you leave a comment below, I'll try to get back with you. If you like the video and hit a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you subscribe. And those of you already are, thank you so very much. I appreciate every one of you. And I appreciate you all watching my video today. But have a happy, scrappy week. Bye.